Today, excuse me, is the 9th day of October. It is a Wednesday. We're on a celebration schedule, so a little shorter classes today, just FYI. Vocabulary word today is annex. Annex means basically to add, and in our case, we're going to be adding territories to a country. So annexing land into the United States. We're adding it. You can annex a lot of things. You can add on an annex to your house, so you're adding on something, a piece. You can cities can annex in land into their city or their county, well, typically city. And so you're adding more land to something. So you annex something, you're adding it, right? That's the word annex. Annexation has that prefix or the suffix at the end of the ation, so something that an act of doing. But it's a basic word, it just means to add. So think about something that would be opposite of it. Okay, that's the vocab word. Our target for today is similar to the one on Monday. Explain the how and from whom we got the area of Texas and Oregon territories from. So that's our target for today. We're going to start, it's not on the today's events, but we actually need to start by finishing the video from yesterday. So if you were gone yesterday, make sure you viewed the video or did the other alternative assignment for that. That's found in Schoology. We're going to finish that video today, just finding out there was question number 8 that we had to finish. So we're going to do that at the start of the hour. Then we're going to do 2 act outs on how we got Texas and Oregon, and I'll walk you through that. And there's also a section in the textbook that you should really read that'll help you to understand how we got those 2 areas. And then we're going to start thinking about, we get to this in some hours and not all, like, is this justified? This process of adding these lands individually, are they justified? So we're going to do act outs for this. I'm going to just direct us to the PowerPoint that I have in our purple folder, our Manifest Destiny and Westward Expansion folder. And it's called The Growth of the United States in Pictures. And this is that chart we were filling out and the coloring that we were doing. So this is where we left off yesterday. 2 days ago, Monday, the original United States. We added Louisiana by purchasing it from France. And then through a treaty, a cession, they gave it up. We added Florida from Spain because they weren't governing their land. So we said either govern or let us have it. And they ended up kind of letting us have it. Maybe they didn't want to, but it was either that or go to war. Now, today, then, we start with Texas annexation. And I would highly recommend that you read this section right here, Chapter 15, Section 4 in your textbook. This is the definite basic version of it, so to get more in depth. But the who of it is the United States is only partially involved in this. Some of our citizens are actually involved in it. The territory of Texas and Mexico are really involved. So Texas revolted against Mexico. And Texas happened to be settled by a whole bunch of Americans that illegally crossed over to the Texas area. And Mexico kind of put a ban on that. They're like, whoa, that's enough Americans here. You're not even supposed to be here. And the problem was these Americans were bringing their slaves with them. And Mexico did not have slavery. So they were quite upset. So Mexico put a ban on Americans coming over. Texans got mad about this, and they eventually revolted against Mexico, fought against them. This is when the Battle of the Alamo, a famous battle, occurred where all of the people, the Americans, the Texans, they called themselves, were killed. And this was the rallying call for Texas then. And they eventually went on to win against Mexico. And immediately upon winning, they wanted to join the United States because they were Americans and they thought the United States would welcome them with open arms. In fact, the United States was kind of worried that if we added Texas, Mexico would get mad at us. So we didn't do it for a while. We made them wait. That's why they're called the Lone Star State, because they were their own country for 10 years. But after 10 years, we decided to annex them. So this one gets confusing because there is a war involved, but that's between the Texans and the Mexican government. And then after they had gotten their independence is when the United States annexed. So we added Texas. So they are only one of 2 states that get to claim to being their own country first, the other one being Hawaii. So please read this section. Don't just go off of what I'm saying. Please read it. That'll help you to understand it better. Here is what you're coloring on your map. Any color works. And then label it Texas. All right? The other one we did today is we talked about how we got the Oregon country. Again, chapter 15, section 5, you should read. It involved the United States and Great Britain. And why did we want this? Well, originally we wanted it because it was a beautiful land, had lots of resources, great soil, great trees. It was, along the Pacific Ocean. Lewis and Clark had just explored it. And originally we were willing to share with Great Britain. There was this huge chunk of land. We were willing to share it with Great Britain. But then the United States was like, you know what? We don't want to share anymore. We want it to ourselves. And so we were, President at the time, President Polk, was willing to go to war over this. But in the end, they decided to sign a treaty, splitting the land in half. We got the lower half, and then Canada claimed with Great Britain, because Canada was a colony of Great Britain, claimed the upper half of this Oregon country. And so that ended up giving us this area. So who, USA, Great Britain, why we wanted it? It was quality land. We wanted to share, but it didn't work. It's like, I gave the example today. It's like two friends that are really hungry and you're telling them to share a medium pizza. We're going to kind of fight over who gets that extra slice if there happen to be any, because of course we want it. So again, read that section. You're going to color in right up here. And as you can probably hear, my classes are coming in, so I'm going to cut this short. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day.